to return after dark.
We asked them to stop all their fires, but they didn't reply. The shooting was direct to the people. They shot the people in the head and in the chest, direct. So they were trying to kill the people, not terrifying them.
If that's one version of events, the other came from Gaddafi himself. He turned up by telephone on Libyan television with a message to AlJazeera. He said the town had been infiltrated by Al-Qaeda, bin Laden, drugs and madness.
The demands come from bin Laden. You, AlJazeera people, are substituting the popular and Jamahiriya system with bin Laden. Bin Laden cells have been operating here for months. His operatives are provoking and brainwashing your children, inciting them to launch attacks. The enemy perpetrating the killings of our children, operating from mosques or elsewhere. Bin Laden and his operatives are providing your children with hallucination pills. Those are the true perpetrators. Arrest them and bring them to court.
The Gaddafis are certainly not short of opinions on what's happening in their country. While his father was blaming Al-Qaeda and drugs for the revolts, Saif al-Islam Gaddafi once again accusing the outside media of invention and lies.
We have to understand that the conspiracy against us is not coming from Libyans. It is coming from our Arab brothers. They have used their media to spread lies and deception. Tomorrow, all media is coming and they will film everything. There is also an investigation committee, which includes foreigners. You will discover that we were deceived. You will find that this was the biggest lie to Libyans in our history.
As well as all these observations from the Gaddafis, Libyan TV has been showing other pictures aimed at putting the fear into the opposition. It isn't clear whether these men are alive or dead, though at least one is still moving. There was a message as well: give all your weapons in and we won't harm you. It's unlikely to be believed by the protesters. It's hardly surprising the government wants the opposition to agree to a weapons amnesty. These images from Misrata in the west, said to be the scene of new fighting after falling to the opposition, suggest the uprising has as many heavy weapons as the army. During his latest address, Gaddafi offered the opinion that Libya's tribal leaders, some of whom have been meeting in Al-Baida, should be taking more responsibility for local government and controlling their young people, though here they said they were more interested in the United Nations coming to save them. Gaddafi said he himself had become more of a symbolic leader of Libya.
As the Arab proverb says, if you carry a leaking water bag, it will make your back wet, and it is your responsibility. It is none of my concern anymore.
This was an address different in tone and content to his speech of Tuesday night. Wishful thinkers might hope it sounded almost valedictory. Or perhaps in arguing that he isn't really leader and therefore isn't in charge, it was simply a denial of responsibility.
May peace be on AlJazeera and its people.
Lawrence Lee, Al Jazeera.
A prayer for those who died in the name of freedom. These are tribal leaders and representatives of eastern Libya, meeting to denounce the government of Tripoli and trying to forge their way ahead. Presiding was former Justice Mustafa Abdel Galil, who resigned soon after the revolt began.
We want one country. There is no Islamic Emirate or Al-Qaeda anywhere. Our only aim is to liberate Libya from this regime and for the people to choose the government they want.
Also attending were military commanders who refused to open fire on their countrymen and women.
I am proud to wear my military uniform, and I'm really sorry for all what happened. But I'm here to tell you that we are here to protect the youth, the people, and to fulfill any of your demands. The blood of the martyrs will not be in vain.
The fighting may have stopped in the east, but life is at a standstill. Military barracks are destroyed, and security is left in the hand of civilians. The classrooms of one school have been turned into a detention center by anti-Gaddafi forces, soldiers and civilians who were flown in and given orders to open fire on protesters. Among them, several nationals from Chad.
They told us there was a free flight to Tripoli. Instead, we landed here. Then they said that we should join the protest to support Gaddafi, but we found ourselves in the middle of fighting.
Despite Gaddafi's hold on power, Libyans here in the east of the country refuse his rule. There is no way back, they say. The people of the east will never fall under the rule of Tripoli as long as Gaddafi remains the leader of the country.
Well, in an interview with AlJazeera, Libya's deputy ambassador to the United Nations, Ibrahim Dabashi, has demanded that the UN take stronger action. Dabashi no longer supports Gaddafi and has called on the international community to impose a no-fly zone over Libyan cities.
We are very worried and we reject any foreign military intervention in Libya. That's why I came here today to put a call out there. After the events we saw in Zawiya today, I address my words directly to my dear two generals, Al-Mahdi al-Arabi and Muhammad al-Isawi, because their role are crucial at this stage. And I say to them that you have proved your courage to us in the past, and you are known for protecting the people from mercenaries and those who kill our people. Your honor and family and military pride does not allow you to go against the will of the people, especially at this historical juncture. A choice has to be made between good and evil. Your brethren have fallen dead on the streets of Libya. Today, tens were killed in the town of Zawiya under your watch. How will you face God? There is now a kind of unacceptable intervention by the UN in an attempt to impose a no-fly zone over the Libyan cities. We are confident in the power of our people, and this is the reason why I have urged the two generals to act. We have enough willpower, enough courage and people and resources to fight against this oppressive regime. But we want protection from the air because Gaddafi has mercenaries from Serbia and Ukraine, and they are using them against the people in Libya. Abdurrahman Shalqam is still the representative of Libya at the UN, and I also continue to hold my position alongside my colleagues. But our first demand is the imposition of a no-fly zone over Libya. That's our key demand.
Well, an Italian military plane has been evacuating UN staff from Libya. The C-130 landed at a military airport outside Rome on Thursday. It carried a small group of UN workers as well as their families. The returnees say they haven't witnessed any violence, but say that large crowds are stranded at Tripoli airport waiting to leave the country. Libya is a major oil supplier to Europe, and the global oil prices have gone up and down, very volatile on the back of what's happening in the country. The United States says that it's monitoring the market's reactions, and it also says it's still working on a response to Libya's violent crackdown on protesters.
You know, obviously sanctions are something we're looking at. I don't want to get into specifics. We're working very closely with the international community. And we're hoping and believe that the international community will speak with one voice, as I think is often the case. When the international community comes together and speaks with one voice, it has a powerful impact in terms of persuading